Hello everyone, welcome back to another forecast video. Today we will be looking into the potential for severe weather in the eastern New Mexico area, and we will also be looking at the unexpected turn in the tropics today. So as we see here, we have Tropical Storm Nadine looking very organized today as it moves into the Belize area and is likely making landfall as we speak, and is expected to jump over land and end up somewhere in the Pacific where it could possibly re-intensify as a tropical storm or even hurricane going into the mid next week. And if we hop over here to Tropical Storm Oscar, which beat all odds and only had a 10% chance of formation over the next couple days, has now turned into a possible high-end tropical storm as the hurricane hunters have just recently found near hurricane winds inside of it. Now, I know this may be very close to Florida, so you might be concerned, but it is currently forecasted to recurve off to the north. There are a couple models to show it hopping over here, and then it may become a threat, but it's very slim to none chance, so it's very unlikely, but right now it's forecast to curve out to the north and pose no threat to U.S. land. So if we can come over here, we can see that recent Hurricane Hunter data from Tropical Storm Oscar shows a pocket of strong winds right here in the northwest eye wall. And if you come over to a drop sound, you can see that on the surface it measured winds of 61 knots, which translate to 70 miles per hour, which means this is very closely getting to hurricane strength and may possibly become our next hurricane as it recurs off to the north. So as you see here from the official cone from the National Hurricane Center, you can see that it's forecast to stay as a tropical storm as it moves off and then recurs off to the north, but it could possibly become a Category 1 hurricane later, as it still is in conductive environments, and Hurricane Hunter data has recently found 70 mile per hour wind gusts within the tropical storm. And this little orange dot you see here is the current wind field estimate. So this is a very small tropical storm with a very small wind field. And if I bring you over to Tropical Storm Nadine, you can see the difference in the wind field estimates, where Tropical Storm Oscar is just a little dot here, whereas Tropical Storm Nadine actually has a fairly large wind field for a tropical storm that extends all the way up here. So as you see here, the current track for Tropical Storm Nadine is that it'll likely hop over land here and then possibly re-strengthen out in the Pacific Ocean here. And if you remember, Milton actually did the same thing where he went north and then jumped over and came out through here, and you know the end of that story. Whereas Tropical Storm Nadine will actually do quite the opposite and will come out from the Caribbean side and jump over into the Pacific and possibly re-strengthen into a tropical storm or hurricane later this week. As you can see here, there are a couple outliers that drag Oscar out over here, where it could possibly pose a threat to other land, but almost every model has it recurving off to the north and not impacting the U.S. mainland whatsoever. Now, if we bring it over here to the severe weather, we can actually see what the driving factor behind that is, which is this bowling ball trough, which is quite normal for this time of year. It's pretty much a closed low that separates from the northern jet stream. And like I said, it's normal for this time of year, and that's what's going to cause our severe weather in the Four Corners region here, specifically eastern New Mexico, as that shear kind of kicks up and drives our tornado factor and other severe weather events. And then it'll kind of just fizzle out as it goes off as it connects with the other trough. But this would have actually been pretty potent if it was more placed over here, because that could have caused more of a tornado outbreak scenario in this area over here. But we were pretty fortunate that it actually disconnected over here and hovered over the Four Corners region. Now if we bring it over here to the HRRR, we can get an idea of timing and intensity in storm mode as we go off into the later afternoon and early evening. So we can see storms beginning to fire up down here, and then they increase in coverage as the evening goes on before kind of merging together in more of a linear mode as it moves north. So we may have some discrete cells, and any discrete cells that can get going by the late afternoon into early evening is going to be our best tornado potential. And as we drag it out here, we can see that on Sunday, we can see the second threat of severe weather out here on Sunday. Kind of the same story if you get a look at it. And both of these are going to cause the potential for tornadoes, damaging wind gusts, and the possibility for large hail. And in my opinion, I think Saturday is going to be the bigger day for tornadoes, but Sunday is also looking possibly pretty impressive for tornadoes when you compare the two. So what we're looking at today is an isolated tornado threat, a damaging wind gust threat, and the possibility for large hail in the eastern New Mexico region. And if we bring it over to the next, you can see our 1 out of 5 marginal risk down here, and then our 2 out of 5 slight risk. And the slight risk is driven by a 15% chance of hail, a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts, and a 5% chance for tornadoes. Now if we bring it over to the Storm Prediction Center's outlooks, we can see our slight risk down here in eastern New Mexico. And we can see that there is a pretty expansive area of a 5% risk for tornadoes. We have a pretty good area of a 15% chance for damaging winds, and another area around similar size of chance for hail. And they did talk about the possibility of later outlooks having to have a hatched risk of 15% chance for hail, which means that there could possibly be a chance for significant severe hail. And if we bring it over here to the day 2 outlook, we can see that we also have a slight risk for the day 2 outlook with another smaller area of a 5% chance for tornadoes, an area of 5% chance for damaging wind gusts, and a 15% risk for large hail. And these areas cover about the same exact area, so the same people will have a double day of severe weather. Overall, make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings today in the eastern New Mexico region, as we have that tornado threat in place today. And thank you guys for joining another forecast video. I hope to see you in the next.